10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
The season is here. Oregon soccer game day today. Volleyball starts up on Saturday with their exhibition. Football has their scrimmage number 2 on Saturday. It's the first weekend where there are games that will count on the record book, and it starts with Oregon soccer tonight against Baylor. 5 p.m. is when the doors are going to open to Pape Field in the 2023 soccer season under Graham Abel. Oregon will get their first bout against the Bears of Baylor. That's coming up tonight with a Ducks team that I'm pretty excited to talk about, and we'll do that throughout the show as we continue to move forward. Just about 4 hours from when the season is about to officially start. We've got football to talk about. Drew Mehringer, the tight ends coach for the Ducks, met with the media yesterday. We'll hear from him as well as a few student athletes. And Oregon volleyball. They will play on Saturday against Portland State in an exhibition. Admission is free. And there are a few other things that are going on, a few really nice efforts for this Oregon team that we'll focus on. But I think it's better to hear from a player on the team talk about him. And Joey Mack yesterday met up with Carson Bacon to talk about some of the efforts that the Oregon volleyball team is going through before the season and talk about the season. So let's hear from the middle blocker, Karson Bacon.
It's one of our favorite things every time we get a student athlete in the studio, particularly one that has not been in the studio before. Karson Bacon is with us, everybody.
Thank you.
This is an awesome thing that the volleyball team is spearheading, and we're going to talk about that. But first, as you all know, we have a tradition. First time somebody comes on the show, you have to tell your 2-minute life story.
2-minute life story.
2-minute life story.
Right.
Okay. So the way that this works, we're competitive. So we do have a leaderboard. Okay. And it's actually someone you know who has the best time ever. We don't play by Price is Right rules. Okay. It's as close to 2 minutes as you can get. The record is 1:59.56.
Oh, so I don't know the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not going to tell you. This is you got to do it yourself. Dave Butler set the record actually. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's not my guess, but perfect.
Who was your guest? Don't say Matt.
No, not never. No,
Oh.
I was going to say maybe Brooke Nunaviller.
Yeah, Brooke was good.
Was she close?
She was like minute 40.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. What? So you just because Brooke's good at everything? I mean,
yeah,
that
that's the standard, right?
Yeah,
so.
that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the best ever that we got across all sports was Coach Butler, was Dave.
Wow.
Now I got to tell you, this has now become like a running joke. Bo Nix said that he thought he cheated.
That Dave cheated.
Yeah, because Bo was like, no way, somebody gets 1:59.56. Like, no way, he had to be stopwatching it. But I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. So, Dave, if you're tuning in and you want
to weigh in,
just let me know, and I'll be happy to continue to defend you. So, it's your 2 minutes. You can fill it however you want. Chance for us to get to know you. The 2-minute life story. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, 2-minute life story of Karson Bacon. Go.
All right. Hello, I'm Karson Bacon. I am currently 23 years old, and this will be my 6th year at the University of Oregon.
Woo!
Yeah, 6 years. All the years blend together, so don't ask me on anything specific at this point. But yeah, I've been here for all 6 years. Basically, a quick life story was I've been tall ever since I was young. I started off doing individual sports, so I did track, I did gymnastics, I swam, I did jiu-jitsu for a little bit. And then I kind of got to a point, and I always joke with my family, I was like 6'1" doing gymnastics still, and I like kicked my teacher like in the face. And so it was kind of that like, you know, coming of age story, like, okay, hey, you're like 6 foot, please do something else with your life. So that's where we got to. And then one of the sports I hadn't tried was volleyball. And then that was when I was around 12, 13, and started volleyball, fell in love, and here I am. So there's that. Wow, what else? I feel like I haven't had a lot of life to live, so it's like, I got my undergrad in general social science, and then I got my master's in applied behavioral analysis, so I've already graduated with that, and now I'm just here for a joyride, so yeah.
How long do you think that was?
Nowhere near 2 minutes.
It was 1:15.
Yeah, that's fine.
That was solid.
Perfect.
I mean, it's a lot easier to, when you've got like 50 years.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a lot easier.
You have a lot to talk about. I don't.
Yeah. Student athlete, I will. This is true. Student athlete 2-minute life stories do tend to be shorter, and that makes sense. So you're right on. I have multiple follow-ups though.
Perfect.
So we can continue. All right, I have to ask you a question that you've probably been asked like 50,000 times in your life.
Okay.
Is your favorite food bacon?
It is not.
So is it even in the top 5?
I wouldn't say so.
I mean, because your last name, like, it's just an obvious question.
It is. It's a given. You would think so, but not
How
really.
often do you get asked that? Like, honestly, like
When I
about something with your last name.
A lot of kids ask me that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, but I mean, I couldn't even count how many times.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, like, for a broadcaster, it's fun for us.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
yeah,
thank you
for do whatever you want with it.
Well, just thanks for like letting us have fun with that. You know, like that makes it great. So 6th year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any standout matches, memories from 6 years so far? I mean, you said the 6 years like a joyride. That's awesome. I mean, that's great.
I'm trying to think. Man, there's too many of them. I feel like I think of like individual plays and like moments or like times with my teammates that I can remember. But like if you were to ask me stats about a match, couldn't give it to you.
Yeah.
Matt Ulmer can.
Of course.
Like by heart.
Don't give him credit for that.
No, I mean.
It's true?
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
He knows them, which, you know, to each their own, but I don't. So
I'm gonna get a text. I'm gonna get a text from him right now about my statement just there. Sorry, Matt. We'll talk to you Tuesday. All right. I will ask you now. Thank you for letting us joke, and thanks for the 2-minute life story. We have to maintain tradition in the studio. You guys are doing something though very, very special coming up for your exhibition against Portland State. Share with fans what's going on.
Yes. So what we're going to do is do a supply drive to donate to all the people affected in Maui from the wildfires that are occurring and have happened. So yeah, we're going to do a supply drive. We're asking for donations, and I believe we have a couple list posts of items that we're looking for, and we're just encouraging fans and families to bring anything that they can. Things include hygiene, toiletry items, bags, pillows, blankets, items for kids like toys, coloring books, markers, and non-perishable food items.
This Saturday, 6 o'clock against Portland State. You can drop it off at the P2 parking garage entrance, for example. More details are on goducks.com. From 5 to 6:30, the drop window is open. And then also on Monday, if you're not able to make it on Saturday, on Monday, the volleyball office will be accepting donations as well. And then I was curious if you could share the logistics of how you're pulling this off. It's quite the story.
Yeah, so obviously everyone's been paying attention to the news and just seeing the devastation that's happening over there. And we actually are going to Hawaii in 2 weeks, I believe, to play there. And just kind of seeing everything in the news, one of our teammates, Georgia, actually had a really good idea for part of like community outreach and deciding that like, hey, like we should, while we're going over there, like, we should definitely do something to help support the communities and the families there and kind of pay our respects to, you know, going to native lands. And you know, I was like, Georgia, that's awesome. Let's do it. And we pitched the idea to our admin and athletics, and the team loved it, and they loved it, and it's been the ball's been rolling and we're going for it.
Well, good for you all for doing that. It's pretty meaningful to a lot of people. I can just tell you that. Especially you think about the wildfires there, the wildfires that are even happening now around us in our community. It's impacted a lot of people. And then I understand both you and Elise Ferrer, who's here in the studio as well, you had family that was impacted by this.
Yes, I did have family that was impacted, but they're okay. And both Elise and I have family that's in Hawaii, like spread across the islands, and just kind of looking at it as a whole. It's like you don't need to pick a certain spot that, just because it may not have happened to someone you directly know. They're people that out and around, and just like, especially from a community standpoint here, we have a lot of student athletes, we have a lot of students, faculty, and just members of our own community that it can affect. And if you're able to help, like, that's something that we should do. And we're in a really good position now, especially with being able to physically travel there. We can do our part in paying respect and just adding, value to our trip there. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Carson Bacon and the Oregon volleyball team spearheading this effort again. Portland State in town on Saturday for an exhibition. Free admission, and you can donate all those items. More details are on GoDucks.com, and then the volleyball team will be your courier out to Hawaii, which is awesome. So thanks for what you're doing. That's awesome stuff. I know that a lot of fans will appreciate it too. Okay, before we let you go, though, I have to ask you a volleyball question.
Do it.
You excited for the season?
Oh,
I mean,
so excited.
It's here. One more for you.
One more. This is the
that.
last year of eligibility, so there's no surprises anymore.
This is it.
This is it. So very excited.
Yeah. Keys to success. What's it going to take for this team this year?
Well, we have a lot of people this year. I think we have 19 on the team. So definitely looks a lot different just from bodies. Like, you're just looking around and there's like just a sea of green and yellow. So I think definitely establishing those relationships and just being able to communicate with each other efficiently and quickly and just get the party started. We're excited.
Carson Bacon, great job. Good 2-minute life story. A great effort helping out those affected by the tragedies in Maui. And, hey, good luck this season.
Thank you.
You're welcome in here anytime.
Perfect.
If you would like to do the interview every Tuesday with Matt Ulmer, fans would probably appreciate it.
Oh. Maybe like if you're sick like a day, just text me.
I'll take a sick day just for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to talk to HR, but that'll be okay.
No, we don't.
No, okay.
No. Sorry. Not able to do the show today. Carson's filling in. What would you ask Matt?
Oh, man.
Get back to us.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Be a lot of deep questions.
Okay.
Lots of the look,
Yeah.
Very pensive.
Good.
Yeah.
Get back to us. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Out to Hawaii and for the rest of the month that you all are gone. Best of luck. Portland State, Saturday, 6 o'clock. More details, GoDucks.com.
Great to hear from Karson Bacon with Joey Mack ahead of the team's first time in action with free admission against Portland State. That coming up at 6 o'clock on Saturday. But I think the bigger point is what this team is doing to try to assist those wildfire relief efforts in Maui. You heard Carson Bacon talk about it. Hygiene items, toiletry items, drawstring bags, small toiletry bags, cleaning wipes, pillows, blankets, kids items, non-perishable foods, basically whatever you would need in a time like this. And I think it kind of hits a little bit home for people around Eugene because of what's going on in our weather system right now, in our climate right now. From 5 to 6:30 is when you can drop off those items on Saturday at Matthew Knight Arena. The P2 parking garage, the North parking garage, those will be where the collection facilities are going to be, where you can drop off your items. And then go watch a volleyball match. Admission is free. It's a top 10 team in the country. A few new faces, a few experienced faces, and a lot of talented volleyball will be going on at Matthew Knight Arena over the weekend. And the Oregon volleyball team doing some really nice work to assist Maui, especially with the connection that the University of Oregon has with Hawaii. With the football team, Marcus Mariota, of course, and the Ohana jerseys that Oregon broke out 2 years ago. There's a strong connection between Oregon and Polynesian culture, and a strong connection that a few players see themselves as a part of going into this football season, as the Polynesian College Football Player of the Year watch list was just announced. 3 Ducks on that watch list. Popo Amuvai, Mace Funa, Taki Taimani, the 3 Oregon Ducks that are on that watch list. All 3 Ducks are on the watch list for the 3rd year in a row. Panay Sewell, Marcus Mariota, winners of the award, and Noah Sewell last year became the first Oregon athlete to be a 2-time finalist for that award. So it's watch list season, and there are going to be even more watch lists to come as we continue to ramp up towards football season. Football scrimmage coming up. Scrimmage number 2 on Saturday, and we're just over 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from Saturday is kickoff against Portland State, so we're ramping right up to football season, and we still have to hear from a few more important members of this Oregon football team. When we come back from this timeout, it'll be the tight ends coach, Drew Mehringer. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider on a Thursday. Ryan Milano in for Joey Mack today. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, following along on YouTube, Facebook, or if you're listening on one of our radio affiliates, Matt Ulmer did just comment on the Facebook stream. Just 2 letters. N-O. No! Coach, it won't keep me away from Athletic Arena on Saturday. I'm going to go to watch the team, but whatever you say, Coach. I don't know. We do have to transition over to football because football is continuing to ramp up towards Portland State 2 weeks from Saturday, and there's still a lot more people to hear from. It's the tight ends coach, Drew Mehringer. He met with the media yesterday. Let's hear from Coach.
With Terrence back and healthy, just what has he been able to do the last couple of weeks and provide in that room, that on the field, off the field, and in a room that's kind of changing this year?
Yeah, I think it's been good to have T-Ferg rolling around again out there on the football field. I thought he's made some nice plays for us. Obviously, he hasn't been in the same number of workouts and stuff that everybody else has, so getting back in the groove of things, he's picking up right where he left off, so it's exciting to see him back, and he's doing a really good job. Him and Pat both are doing a really good job of being senior leadership in that group and providing a lot of good direction and what it's like to play major college football for some of those new guys, but also how to take care of yourselves and how to prepare like a veteran.
What did Casey bring to the table that you like to add him to the room, and just how has
his progression going?
Yeah, so Casey is a super tough kid, physical player, smart football player. He's obviously played a lot of football, played in some big games and stuff like that. So he's a guy that comes in, obviously with experience. So the learning curve for players like that is much smaller, right? The terminology may be a little bit different, right? But he's a guy that can integrate himself in there pretty quickly. He's, like I said, played a lot of good football. He's got a really good skill set, but he brings a lot of energy into that room. And then last year we played with some guys that had played a bunch. And so to have another one in the room right there that can compete and then, level up our depth, right? And potentially even be a starter and stuff like that is fantastic.
How did he get on your radar? Did you know him before this last year? When did you start kind of seeing his film?
So he was a guy that was out there, and then I knew that he was out there, but in this day and age in the portal, you got to do a lot of good research on players. And thankfully, Wilson Love, our strength coach, had been there and knew him personally. And then Taisheem, I asked Taisheem, I was like, tell me about this guy. And so both of those guys had great things to say, and everything that I was told is everything that this guy has been. And so he's been awesome. We're super glad to have him.
Last year you rotated pretty frequently through about 4 guys.
Yeah.
Feel like you have the numbers this year to do the same?
I think we have, we've got 3 guys that have played. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out for us. I'm not sure just yet. I think even to this point in camp, heading into Saturday, it'll be interesting to see how it still plays out. So I don't know what we're willing to say just yet. I think we're still learning our team and how the dynamics all fit together. But I do think that we've got some guys that can play and help us go win some games. So we'll see.
How does Will's offense, particularly now that it's more almost game planning, season planning, compared to what Kenny was doing in terms of, he set a pretty good number of 12 and even 13 at times last year, compared to Will's probably a little bit more 11 based, I would think.
I think that any good play caller, any good coach is going to put their best grouping out there or whatever they think is going to help them convert in that particular situation. So I think that, if you look at UTSA, like they had a phenomenal group of wide receivers. So for them to take those guys off at times, like they were 11 and 12 quite a bit. Last year, right, we got big in some certain situations that provided, personnel mismatch advantages and stuff like that. So do we still have some of those elements? Absolutely. Does it look a whole lot different? I think there's certainly definitely his flair that exists within this offense, right? But I think the core principles of what we do and how we do it still exist.
I was just going to ask, how has Kenyon come along? I know you mentioned you had 3 guys who've got experience. He doesn't, but obviously has some of the tools. Where does he need to improve maybe to join those guys?
You never know. I mean, freshmen are always fun and interesting, right? There's always these high hopes for whenever they've come in, and he's done a great job. He's a super talented kid. He's a super smart kid, super high character. He's everything that you could want to coach. So he's continuously developing, and guys like those other 3 being around there showing him how to grow and how to develop. Him being here in the spring and learning this stuff has been really, really good. So I'm really excited about where he's headed. Where is he going to be for us come this season? Hard to say at the moment, but I think he's doing some really good things.
Where's he as a blocker? Because sometimes for the freshman, that can be the hiccup.
Yeah, freshmen, especially guys that played wideout, right? Those guys, it's hey, it's a little different. Mateo looks a little different than those high school corners. But he's done a good job. He's, when you recruit my position, one of the things is you got to find tough kids that aren't scared of contact, right? So whether they've played wideout, whether they've played tight end, whether they're a running back or quarterback, doesn't matter, right? Do they have it inside? Do they want contact? Because contact's coming at this position, whether you like it or not. And so he's done a great job. He's a tough kid. He's a physical kid. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up with anybody that you put in front of him.
Kenyon's high school tape was pretty impressive. Has he shown flashes either in spring or this fall that kind of, that he's doing that on this college stage, not just the high school level?
Yeah, I think once those guys get comfortable and right, because for anybody, right, anybody that takes a new job, right, you're not moving as fast as you want to day one, right, learning how the system works and today and for our stuff, where do I line up and what route is this? Okay, I don't just get to run past the guy because I'm so much faster than the guy. You know what I mean? That guy can run too. And so learning new techniques, and he's a very conscientious kid. So he wants to do exactly what you've told him to do and coach to do. And if he messes it up, he knows exactly what he messed up. He's like, Coach, I know I didn't do this. And it's but when he gets out there and plays freely, he's done some really, really good things for us. So we're really excited about his ceiling and where he's going. But really, really glad that he's in our room. And, we'll see where he is down the road.
With how long Pat was out hurt before last year. Just all right, we saw him in the role that he had. Now that he's been back on the field for this period of time, how much more does he offer you now? Where if last year he was mainly in the H kind of role,
yep,
is he doing more Y, more split Y kind of stuff than he was a year ago?
You know, I think that, you know, this is Pat's first full year that he's been healthy. So, you know, when you look back at last year, it was kind of hard to say like what Pat was, right? Because he really like hadn't had much development through college because he had been hurt. And so he wasn't even in spring ball last year, right? He was getting healthy coming into fall camp and the back end of fall camp. So, you know, we didn't really know the kind of player that we had. And so now that you're seeing him, you're seeing his skill set blossom, right? And you're seeing a guy that went from, you know, hadn't played college football in 2.5 years, right? To a guy that's like, I mean, you're watching like a whole bunch of new skills develop and stuff like that. So his ability to play in multiple places is certainly growing.
Building off of that, just in what ways have you seen Pat and T-Ford, a year of experience under their belt, how have you seen them kind of both of their games blossom, just being able to come into another fall camp? Like maybe what are some different things they're focusing on this fall camp now that they're in the system, they know it, and they're confident in it?
I think fundamentally, right, that's the biggest thing, right? When you watch guys go from a year in the new offense, it's mainly can we get this right? Can we line up in the right places? Can we run the right routes? Can we block the right people? How well are we doing those assignments, right? That's going to come down to a lot of fundamentals, especially when you play really good teams, really good opponents. And so I think the biggest leap that we've seen from that last year to this year in those guys is how technically sound that they've become, right? So watching them grow in hand placement and route running and fundamentals and all this kind of stuff, the way that they catch the ball, maneuver defenders, all this kind of stuff, that stuff's really, really, really grown and been a lot of fun to watch.
And last question. I know you guys had Mateo out there tight end for a couple of snaps during the spring game. Has he rep there at all since then?
You know, like he's an impressive individual, right? I think that, you know, if you wanted that kid to play quarterback, you could probably figure out a way to do it. He's super smart, super tough. If I had an option to keep him out there a little bit more, I probably would. But he's doing a good job. I think Manager. Yeah, I love that. I think, you know, we'll see what he does right now. Like, kind of like Kenyon, right? He's digesting the entirety of a pretty complex defense. So you can't stunt him on one side, you know, of anything to slow him down just to say that we're going to do something else with him. So I'm sure that we're going to find something to do with him at the moment. But we feel pretty good about where we're at tight end depth-wise as well.
A lot of freshmen in that group, a lot of experienced guys in that group. The one thing they have in common, not scared of contact. That interview brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. It's close to soccer season. It's about 3.5 hours away. We'll hear from some student athletes and break down the keys to the game when we come back on Duck Insider from the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. And the point is that the season starts today for Oregon soccer. It is a big-time game day, 5 p.m. versus the Bears of Baylor at Pape Field. Show up to soccer tonight. It's international night. There's face painting. There's some giveaways that'll be going on over at Pape. So get over to Pape Field. This game will be telecast on Pac-12 Networks. It'll also be broadcast on the radio side on KWVA. Levi Bergfeld, Jack MacArthur doing it for the student station. They'll be holding it down over at Pape Field. If you remember, there is some history between these two teams and some recent history with Graham Abel with these two teams. In 2021, these teams faced off down in Waco, and things got interesting. Oregon took the early lead 2-0, and it was an early lead that turned into a late lead because it was the same score into the 81st minute. But then a red card against the Ducks put them down a player. It was 11-10. Baylor was able to score to bring the deficit to 1, and then they got a penalty kick, and what looked like a shot that was saved by the Ducks was actually called a goal. Some controversy there, and it ended up being a draw. In fact, both of the times that these teams have faced off, it has been in overtime. Baylor got the better of the Ducks in extra time the first time around, and then of course, the draw the last time out in the most recent matchup between these two teams. Oregon looking to get into that win column to start the season and get into the win column against Baylor. A few student athletes, they met with the media 2 days ago. And first, we'll hear from Alice Barbieri, an experienced midfielder for the Ducks, who talked to the media ahead of the soccer season.
You guys lost some experienced veterans, but you and some other players, your generation, have plenty of experience under your belts too. Has it been a different kind of off-season in terms of stepping into a bigger leadership role, perhaps?
I think so, definitely. Being one of the older players now is just I've taken it upon myself and so have a few of the other girls to really try and teach the freshmen like how we play soccer around here. And I think it shows because the freshmen are doing so well and they've picked it up like no other super quickly. So we're really proud of them and what they've done, and the time that they're putting in off by themselves watching film is awesome to see.
Obviously the identity of this team will kind of show as the season progresses, but what do you think are some of the basics right now, kind of identifying characteristics about this group?
Right now it's just our hard work. Like, we have been putting in so much effort this entire preseason, and there's times where we look amazing. Just effort-wise, the effort is always there, and effort is one thing that we are not lacking, which is amazing. And we're connecting everything else, communication, chemistry, technical-wise. That's all going to come with effort, but as long as we have effort, that's all we really can ask for.
What's the biggest thing the team wants to see during this non-conference schedule?
We just want to see ourselves mesh together as a unit. There's so many of us now. We haven't had this many people on a roster in a while. So I think number one is if we could get all 29, 30 players to be on the same page together, whether they're on the field or not, I think that's the biggest thing for us.
How quick do you feel like consistency can come then, given all the moving parts? I mean, at what point do you start to expect to see that, and how long do you give yourselves to say, we're still kind of coming together?
To be honest, I think we expect it coming the next game. We don't want to start slow. That's not something that we want to do. So I think myself and everybody else expects it in the next game, and we're going to try our best to make that happen.
Just kind of speaking to the leadership role you have for the team, obviously starting your freshman year, you had 4 starts, you kind of built all the way up, and now you're tied for the most games played on the roster. What's kind of the view of your role for this team going specifically off the field going forward for this season?
I just want to be there for all the girls. We have so many young girls that I want to be that person that they can look up to and come and ask questions. If they're dealing with something off the field, I want to be that person that they come to as well. So whether it's on and off the field, I want to be able to just assist anybody in the way that I can. And on the field, I just have to bring my energy that I usually do, and that's all I can really take care of.
Obviously, if you have talented depth, that's a great thing. Do you feel like you've seen benefits from that already? I mean, are you fresher through training, things like that?
Yeah, I think we have so much depth in every position, which isn't something that we've had since I've been here. And it definitely allows for a rotation, and we have so many different girls with so many different assets that it allows us to rotate it based on something that we need on the field. So personally, my legs are more fresh, so that's always a plus. But we have so many talented girls that the rotation is just endless for us.
Are there one or two of those newcomers that have stood out to you as standouts in practice?
Honestly, they've all stood out. They're amazing. Ryan, Cam, Lo, Myra, every single freshman has stood out to me. Nobody has let anybody down or anything. It's been great. The freshman class has been awesome.
What's it like been watching the goalkeeper competition? Obviously, with Leah gone, that spot is up for grabs. But what have you seen out of those young women?
They're fighting for it, and it's so fun to watch. We've been doing a lot of finishing drills, and it's a lot of get up and go for the goalkeepers, and they're killing it. All four of them are holding their own, and it's going to be exciting to see what the goalkeeper position has.
Did you have a personal focus this offseason for how you wanted to improve your game? Was there anything that really stood out to you?
Yeah, I wanted to focus a lot on my physical side, but also my technical side. I think having the technical part of the game is the most important thing. If you don't have the technical part, you can't have the tactical part. So I wanted to focus a lot on just keeping the ball, being confident on the ball. So that comes with just being comfortable with the ball at your feet. And then obviously my physical side, being fit, strong, ready to go.
What lessons do you think this team learned from the match with Idaho?
I think we just learned we need to be composed and we need to be confident. We know we can do, and we've seen it in practice, and we've played against each other, and we know what we can do. So it's just up to us to be confident and translate that into a real game.
And one of the senior leaders of this team, one of the more experienced players, is it difficult or is it challenging to balance kind of letting the young players develop at their own pace, but also pushing them to win now?
I think the freshmen are really adapting to it, so it's not too much that we need to push them or let them go at their own pace. They're it's insane how far they've come already in 3 weeks maybe. So the freshmen are developing at a great pace, so there's not too much that we need to do. Obviously, there's little things here and there that they can ask or we correct, but it's nothing major, so the freshmen are doing really well.
Hopefully the air quality is a little better by Thursday game time.
I hope so.
Have you guys had to change little things because of what the weather's been like this week?
Yeah, we are fortunate enough to have a beautiful indoor facility, so we trained in there today, but besides practice time being pushed back, that's the only thing. So we're just hoping that the air clears up for Thursday.
Alice Barbieri, one of the key veterans on this team, and a pretty young team at that for Graham Abel. 24 of the 29 rostered players are underclassmen for Graham Abel's squad. So the leaders of the team are going to have to take over as the upperclassmen. Another one of those, a fifth-year senior, Jordan Schneider, the only senior on the roster, had some big-time goals for Oregon last year. She also talked to the media 2 days ago.
Being someone who's got some experience, but you guys also lost some talented veterans from last year's team. What's this offseason been like for you in terms of maybe stepping into a different kind of leadership role?
Yeah, well, it's because there's so many underclassmen, we kind of have to give advice because they haven't been in college before. So we just give advice, not even about soccer, just even communicating with each other. If you have a little, disagreement, just finding the ways to communicate, even just outside of soccer.
What are your thoughts on this non-conference schedule? You have some big tests. I mean, do you guys like that?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. It's a good challenge because we know we can beat these schools. It's good we have so much depth too that we're not really worried about running our legs into the ground, we can easily rotate and just have fresh legs.
There's so many newcomers. You've obviously seen a lot of classes. What's your observations, for us from the outside looking in, of what this freshman group has been like so far?
Yeah, this freshman group has been really, really good. They've come in really fit. They're really good at soccer too. They're still learning like the terminology, because I didn't learn that. I didn't know that either when I came in. But they've really impressed me, and I think they've also impressed Graham.
In a lot of ways, your season last year was one of the more breakout years, getting the starts and the goals that came. How are you viewing this season as building off of that? Like, what's been your approach to this upcoming season, building off as you've gotten a bigger role with the team?
I honestly wouldn't really say I'm building off of that year. I'm just trying to progress just generally, not just from last year. Yeah.
And have there been any of the new? There's so many newcomers. Are there any names that jumped out to you in the off season? Has there been standout performers that you've really enjoyed working with?
Yeah, they've all been great. Cam is really fun to play with. She's really technical and fast. And Lauren is really good too. She's like really shifty, and I don't know how she gets out of certain situations. But they've all been really good. And Leah has been good. She's competing really well with all the goalies.
And then, do you view yourself as a leader in the team off the field against one of the more experienced players on the roster? It's a unique position as the only fifth year. Do you view yourself as a leader for the squad off the field?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, just because I've experienced so many things throughout college outside of soccer that I can give advice, like I was saying, about communicating and how you solve disagreements.
Well, what do you mean to you to in your fifth year to get an NCAA tournament appearance?
That would be fantastic. It'd be amazing.
I mean, it seems like talking with Graham, it seems like the talent is there and the athleticism is there. I mean, what are you overall just this fall camp? Are you pleased with the progression of this team so far?
Yeah, I've been really impressed. Our defending shape usually takes a little bit of time to develop, but we've been doing really good at practice. And it started off really good too, so yeah.
Now, it's a unique challenge where you get one home game and then you're on the road for a couple weeks. Has that changed how you've approached kind of the non-conference slate, knowing that you're going to be on the road for for 4 straight matches?
Well, we go into each game with the same mindset that we want to win and play good. But of course, we also have to take care of. We're going to be in a flight, so we make sure we are drinking a lot of water and eating good too, and then also recovering well also.
A lot of freshmen will play in their first matches here. If I was a freshman that was about to play, what advice would you give me for that first match?
I would just tell them to breathe, because sometimes you can get in your head a lot. So just breathe, relax. Sometimes I like to pray a little bit. Yeah.
In your experience, could they have gotten any of those butterflies out last week, or is it really going to be kind of the first counting match where they're going to hit with the most nerves?
Well, personally, I was really nervous for the exhibition game, just because even though it was an exhibition game, it was still our first game, and we always want to prove ourselves to Graham and the coaches. So, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
A young team for Oregon soccer going to debut tonight against Baylor. Start of the season at 5 p.m. over at Pape Field. The future of this team is on the pitch. For me, a big appeal of collegiate athletics is these groups that you get to see as freshmen and grow up through their time as collegiate athletes until they're seniors. And that feels like sort of the start with a group that is so young that is hitting the pitch coming up tonight for Oregon soccer. I'm really excited to see what Graham Abel's squad is ready to roll out. When we come back from this break, we'll hear from our friends from the Slocum Center and also some more football student athletes on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's national sales event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome to the Slocum Center Minute. Slocum Center physicians are located here in Eugene and are the official orthopedic team physicians for your beloved Oregon Ducks. With me today, I have Dr. Brick Lance, who specializes in sports medicine and knee and shoulder surgery at Slocum Center for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Lance, it's my understanding that a sports injury led you to become an orthopedic surgeon.
That's correct. At age 17, I had a fairly serious injury. I was playing soccer, and I had a knee dislocation. So I tore most of the ligaments in my knee and had a bad cartilage injury. That was difficult. That was a serious injury. I was in a cast for 6 months and on crutches for 6 months. Well, back in the 70s, now that kind of dates me, orthopedic surgeons didn't know exactly how to treat some of these more serious injuries. So that really led to my interest to know how to treat athletic injuries.
Dr. Lance, what's your interest in soccer today?
Well, I do have an interest in soccer. Of course, I did get to play soccer as a youth, but I also was able to coach soccer for about 12 years, mostly in kids sports, but also in high school tournaments. And as most people know, soccer is the most played and the most watched sport throughout the entire world. And as an orthopedic surgeon, I do have the privilege of being able to travel the world on mission trips. And typically I'll take soccer balls with me, donated by Kids Sports, and that's a great way to create relationships, because soccer is played universally throughout the entire world. Just recently returned from Haiti and took soccer balls, played down on the beach. It was very fun.
Dr. Lance, how does soccer compare to other sports when it comes to injuries?
Well, of course, some of the injuries are very similar, but soccer is a unique sport. At Slocum, we do have the privilege of providing quite a bit of on-field coverage for a variety of different soccer athletic events. And we treat a lot of soccer injuries, and that includes the high school, the college, includes kids sports, includes adult recreation leagues, which are popular here in Eugene, and now we volunteer our service for the Lane United Club. But the injuries are varied. The anterior cruciate ligament, or the ACL, is a common injury. We have been involved in trying to do prevention for ACL injuries in particular through our physical therapy department and reaching out to the soccer clubs and trying to educate both coaches and parents. Concussions actually is a very common injury in soccer as well. And Dr. Keister is really at the forefront of understanding concussions and particularly the long-term consequences of those. And he treats a lot of the kids and adults with concussion injuries. Also, you get your typical muscle strains, your sprains, and not too infrequently a fracture as well. Of course, the fractures often need acute treatment. So there's a wide variety of injuries that can come from soccer.
So this isn't just a profession for you. This is a passion because of the sport of soccer which you played.
That is correct. I still like talking about soccer. I like seeing soccer players. I like interacting with the coaches. It's definitely an enjoyment for me. And, of course, I like getting the players back on the field. That's the real joy.
To see the smiles.
Yeah.
I know you have online information.
Yeah, it's www.slocum.com.
Dr. Lance, thanks so much for the information and for doing what you do.
It's a pleasure. I enjoy it.
This was the Slocum Center Minute, brought to you by Slocum Center for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, the official orthopedic sports medicine team physicians for University of Oregon Athletics since 1967.
Back on Duck Insider here on a Thursday. Soccer game day tonight, and Oregon football continue to ramp up to their second scrimmage and their first game of the season 2 weeks from Saturday. Let's hear from a transfer offensive lineman. Nishad Strother talked with the media, and he is looking to be a factor on this offensive line. Let's hear from Strother.
You had an idea of what, being a Duck was going to be like when coming in. Now you've got a few weeks of actually experiencing it on the field. What's it been like?
Yeah, it's definitely surpassed my expectations. Just being in this place, this facility is amazing. It's everything that I expected and more. Like the resources available, the staff, the training room, everything has surpassed my expectations. It's really a blessing to be here.
How about the competition that you've kind of experienced facing in fall camp?
Yeah, the competition level at a place like Oregon is definitely something that you have to come bring it every day. You can quickly fall up and down the depth chart if you don't bring it every day. So competing is definitely something we're going to do every day, and so every day.
When you come in, you've had some experience under your belt. Do you feel like pressure to kind of meet up to people's expectations?
Yeah, I don't think anybody has more expectations for me than myself. I'm very critical of myself and how I perform. So if anybody's putting pressure on me, it's me.
You said during the day you're basically willing to play wherever they ask you to play. Have you been honing in on one spot, or are you still kind of crossing?
No, I've been mostly playing right and left guard. But either way, wherever they need me, I'll play.
From what we've seen, it's been mainly with the ones out there. Exclusively with the ones so far.
We're just moving around a little bit here and there. Nothing's set in stone right now, but we'll see what happens.
How helpful is that to just build chemistry with a bunch of different guys?
I believe so. Working with everybody is important. No good offensive line is going to play only 5 players. So, the idea is to definitely have more than just the starting 5 to be out there.
Were you trying to cut to 320? It's a couple pounds, not a huge difference, but were you trying to get down a couple? Or?
I don't really think it's that much of a concern. But 320, I would like to play at 320. I believe I'm closer to like 316 right about now. So, I'm comfortable at this weight. I think I'll probably stay right around here.
Who's been the most difficult matchup so far for you in practice?
At a place like Oregon, the competition amongst the whole D-line is really good. They all have their thing that they can get you with. You can't take anybody lightly, for sure. But, some of the older guys, that have some more tools in their box, like Popo. He's a really good pass rusher, and he gives me a lot of trouble. So I like going against him a lot. He's gonna make me better.
People hear that for a nose tackle, and again, fans here know it from a couple of years ago, but he's been hurt. But just as somebody who's seeing it for the first time yourself, a 330-pound nose tackle who can pass rush. Yeah. What is it about him that allows him to have pass rush at that size?
Yeah, he's a special creature. Just to be able to move the way he does at his size, it's something I've never seen before. But it's definitely special.
Got a really talented stable of running backs behind you. What's it kind of like as an offensive lineman knowing that when you do succeed up front blocking and make those holes, that you can feel confident they're actually going to hit them?
They make the job easy. All we got to do is hold on for a few seconds, and more likely than not, they're gonna hit it and be gone with it. So, we just have to do our job for them, and we know they're going to do their job for us.
How does Bo's leadership come across? Are there examples that you've seen since you've gotten here of that?
Oh yeah, a lot. During the summer when the coaches run around, he was taking the lead during the walkthroughs, and just telling receivers and explaining the whole playbook pretty much to the team, and just taking that leader role is something I've never seen come from another player. But it was really impressive to see his leadership, and him just knowing everything that everybody has to do was really impressive.
How big of a part play did he have in your recruitment coming here and your decision to come here?
Not too much. We had some conversations, and he was definitely pulling for it, but just some conversations, and me and him talked on the phone and texted a bit, and but nothing too much.
I've loved hearing from the East Carolina transfer Nishad Strother before this season. I got to hear his media day interview. He's got such a humble energy about him. I've really liked a lot of what he's talked about, what the offensive line has talked about moving in to this football season. We're going to take a quick time out, and when we come back, we're going to catch up with what women's basketball is up to, as well as a few more things to close out the show on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the Lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider as we close out the show, a few different things to touch on, and first of which is Oregon women's basketball is going gallivanting through Europe, an excursion for the Oregon women's basketball team. They'll play 3 exhibition games. They depart for Europe this weekend on Saturday. They'll visit London, they'll visit Greece, and I think overall just a really strong team bonding trip that this must be. You always see with these different teams that go internationally and spend time together, how much that unites a group. And I think for this Oregon women's basketball team, whose season starts in just about 2 months, a little over 2 months away, the schedule released on Tuesday for their non-conference schedule. I think that this Europe trip is going to be a good sign for the team. Also, keep in mind, tonight, be at Pape Field. Soccer game day against Baylor. Ducks and the Bears at 5 o'clock. Also on Pac-12 Networks and KWVA. And this weekend, volleyball, an exhibition against Portland State, and their efforts for the Maui wildfire relief. That's a full show. Tomorrow, Joey Mack is back. Jorgie will be here too, talking football. For now, that's Duck Insider. Have a good one, everyone.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's